what keeps me being a teacher. And of course, you know, the answer is very obvious. Of course, it's the children. You really need to love them and like them. I mean, we're sequestered in this room with 4 walls and 1 little exit hatch. So if you didn't like them, you know, you'd have a pretty miserable day. So I think the obvious thing is it's the kids. But the job of a teacher is so much more than just teaching today, you know, and I think I enjoy that too. But first I had to learn that it was different. Because if you think that all you're here to do is teach, you know, a lot of times you might say, well, if they just would let me teach, if I could just teach. But it's so much more. You are a nurse, you are a social worker, you are a counselor. And that makes your day different every day. It makes it really exciting sometimes and, you know, kind of sad and overwhelming other times. But once you realize that your job is not just one thing, that, you know, it kind of makes you feel good to know that you do a lot of different things in your day. My kids know from the very beginning of the school year that aside from keeping them safe, the most important thing that I have to do this year is teach them how to read. Kindergarten teachers plant the seeds and they get it started for us, but then when they get to 1st grade, it is an awesome responsibility to take these kids who maybe only see a black squiggle on a piece of white paper and have no idea what to do with that. And you take it and you turn it into somebody who can read and love books. Seeing them smile in the morning, knowing that they're happy to be here at school, knowing that when I send them home, for the most part, they've had a good day and they feel good about themselves. That is probably the most meaningful to me.
I love teaching science. It's different than all your other classes. You get to get up and move around and experiment and do things, and it's a little bit less structured. And I think that you can have a little bit more fun with that. I feel like, too, the relationships that you build with kids helps them understand that you're here for them. You're not here to just stand up at the front of the room and talk and make them listen. You know, you're there to build that relationship. It's not always about the science. It's about building the relationship and having these kids have fun at school. You know, there's some kids that dread coming to school because learning is hard, or maybe they had a rough night at home, and you never know what's going on at home or what's, you know, going through their heads or anything like that. And so I feel like just making it a little bit fun and being goofy for them to know that I'm silly too, like I'm not perfect, and I guess letting them see that I make mistakes too, and that this is the place where we can make mistakes and it's safe and it's okay. I've been asked what would I do if I wasn't a teacher, and I honestly have absolutely no idea. I can't picture myself in an office. I've done the office job, you know, behind the desk for summer jobs and stuff like that, but it's just not fun, you know? I mean, these kids, you know, you never know what's gonna come out of a kid's mouth, especially an 8th grader. I mean, they're fun. And yeah, it's a lot of work and it's a lot of, you know, extra this and extra that, but we're building our future, I think, as teachers. We're making these kids grow up into who's going to take care of us and who's going to be around when we're old and, you know, trying to just make it through. And so I just like the kids. I love the kids. I love being around these kids, and I think they make me feel younger. 9 times out of 10, it should be something that they are having a good time learning, and they're getting the most out of it that they can.
I always knew I wanted to be a teacher. My mom was a teacher and my aunts were teachers, and so I knew I had that path. And then in between my freshman and sophomore year in college, I worked at a Christian camp, and during 1 week we had what was a camp for adults with disabilities, and after that summer with them, I knew that special education was where I wanted to be. When you teach in the cluster department, you have a variety of needs, to more significant to less severe, and so you have the whole variety. I enjoy helping students who need help with their communication and adapting curriculum so it fits their needs, all the way up to a student. Today we had an assignment, tell me why you're lucky, since it's about St. Patrick's Day, and she's a student who's transitioning to high school, and she said, I know we're not related, but you're all my family. So that was just a really special moment when you have students for 3 years and you have them for the majority of their day. You really can make good connections with them and their families. I love being at work. It just is always something that's where I'm supposed to be, and so I feel like work is where I want to be. It's my fit. A lot of our students have significant either financial needs or if they have some bathrooming needs and we don't have the correct supplies. In order to make their day successful, they have to have clean clothes. They need to have their supplies. For example, yearbooks. If they want yearbooks at the end of the year, we've bought yearbooks for students just to make them feel successful. And it's part of that relationship building piece. The joy of making a difference the next day. The kids are always so happy to see you and work so hard. We had a student over winter break. She came back and she rubbed the table and she goes, school, because she missed school. And it's just such a pleasure to work with students who enjoy coming to school and working hard. I love creating the materials and adapting it and making it work for students.
From the very first day, I always tell my kids that we're a family of friends. I really base my classroom around that we're a family when we're here. And I do that through the curriculum, but mostly how we treat each other, how we stick up for each other on the playground, how we're kind to each other. And those are lessons we work with every day because nobody's perfect. And so sometimes we say things that we wish we could take back, but we just talk about a family of friends and how we work together here to take care of each other, and we show love for each other and how we care. I always say that I never leave school until I'm ready for the next day. And so I'm here. I'm here many times until 5:30 or 6 o'clock at night. I look at the assessments I've given the kids during the day and I take grades, but mostly during that time I'm preparing my lessons for the next day. I just feel like I need to be the best I can be for my kids. I hope that they know how much I care about each one of them. I always say we are a group of really good kids. Sometimes we make poor choices, but we can fix that and we can make that right. But I really try hard to make sure that every kid every day gets a special connection with me. I feel like if they think that they're special to me, that gives them some incentive to improve their reading or their math or their writing or whatever that we're working on. Every day we say the poem that's called Family of Friends. We say it every day right after we say the pledge. And then we have a little reminder of that we're a family. I tell them I'm kind of like your school mom while we're here, and you're like my children. And we work together as a team, and we learn every day as best as we can. Curriculum is very important, but I really think relationships are the key to what makes a room successful. And if we're getting along as a team or as a family, then I think that improves their learning altogether.
I really liked school and I really liked math, so it worked out really well that I just started to think this is something I would like to do. And then when I went to college, I just think that some of those classes just showed me how I could do this with loving math, being able to teach that and help kids who struggle or help kids who love it, depending on who they are, and also just get to do life with high schoolers. I think that high school is just a great time, and they go through just peaks and valleys, and I get to just walk alongside of them every day and get to encourage them when days are tough and when days are good. So that's just kind of why I love it. Like, I love getting to do just daily life with them. I get to teach them math, but I also get to just really encourage them to just find joy and choose joy in life and love learning, whether it's math, whether it's chemistry. Hopefully it's math. And I see that whole spectrum. I see kids who really, really get it, and they think mathematically and logically, and then some who just really, like, this is really, really out there for them. And so I try to do a lot of one-on-one. I try to just really make myself accessible, make sure that I can think through just how they might have questions. I love those relationships. I love going to practice and games and getting to be their coach. Some of the girls I have in class too, so I also get to be their coach along with their teacher. So that's really cool. And then it just gives me another avenue to just get to know them outside of class, because I always tell my students, like, there's more to life than school for you. I get that. Like, you are involved in things, you have lives outside of school, so I want to know that about you. But I also think school is important, so we need to figure out how to do that together and do that well. The kids are why I do my job, and I don't know, I could even be like having a tired morning too, but when my first period starts, like, I just love what I'm doing because they're there, they're ready to go, they want to learn, and I know that. So having those relationships with them, whether it's like a 20-second conversation about their weekend or about their show choir, competition, it's something that makes them know that I care about them, because I do.
For me, it was just the experience of working with kids and seeing what positive exchanges could happen that made me feel like that's what I wanted to be. I just really enjoy all of the kids that I work with, and I get a lot out of seeing them succeed. And this year in particularly, a lot of these kids, especially in debate, have, and that's pretty rewarding. This year in particular, I decided I'm going to ask myself before I make any decision, does this make the kids shrink so that they don't have to make other people feel small, or does it make them shine? And every time I have made a decision to let them be as shiny as they possibly can be, they have done way more than I expected. And so this year, we've got kids who qualified to 2 national tournaments. Last year, we won the state title. I have kids who were struggling with sexual identity things and feel really embraced in who they are that way. And I just think it's really important, and I think our society doesn't do this well enough, to tell kids, no, don't hold back. You don't have to slow down or wait it out or see if things are gonna go okay. You're fine, you're brave, you're strong, and you can do it. And then if they do fall or fail, it's just high school. It's like the consequences aren't that big. They might get a B instead of an A, and I think that that's an okay risk for them to take. School community is really important to me. So last year I had a yoga club, which went okay, but more successfully, I've worked with the football team, the cross country team, and the track team. If I am practicing yoga on a regular basis, then I make better decisions emotionally, physically, and interact with people better. And so I thought, well, that seems really selfish for me to not share that skill with other people, right? And then if we've got a huge group of kids at Roosevelt interacting with each other in a more positive way, then I can't help but think that doesn't make for a better school climate. That's why I really enjoy working with kids, is because the world hasn't beat them up yet. And so they give me just so much hope about the future and what the human condition can endure, and also all the good things that I think that they're gonna bring to the world.